Welcome. Today, we dive into the fascinating relationship between Alexander Pushkin and Christianity, a topic that has sparked much debate among scholars. For years, Pushkin was seen as a poor Christian, but in the post-Soviet era, he's often portrayed as a deeply orthodox poet. Yet the truth is far more nuanced. Pushkin didn't shy away from using Christian themes for artistic purposes, sometimes even parodying them. This sets the stage for our exploration of how he approached religious motifs in his works, especially in The Stationmaster. Let's begin by understanding the complexity of Pushkin's attitude toward Christian culture and how it shaped his literary creations. One of Pushkin's signature techniques was travesty, parodying or even burlesquing serious themes. This wasn't just limited to his poetry, but extended to his drawings and even his everyday behavior. For Pushkin, turning revered subjects upside down was a way to explore new artistic ground. His works, like the infamous Gavrilyed and his letters, reveal a playful, sometimes irreverent approach to sacred topics. This sense of parody is especially strong in his prose, where he often mocks romantic cliches and even religious motifs. Understanding this playful side is key to unlocking the deeper meanings in his stories. Pushkin's Belkin tales are especially known for their parodic elements. Critics have noted how these stories set up familiar structures, only to subvert them with humor and irony. Pushkin himself joked about how his stories made his friends laugh uncontrollably. While much of the parody targets romantic conventions, it doesn't stop there. Religious and cultural motifs are also fair game. This playful undermining of expectations is a hallmark of Pushkin's narrative style, making his stories both entertaining and thought-provoking. Let's see how this approach plays out in The Stationmaster. In The Stationmaster, Pushkin weaves in gospel motifs, particularly the story of the prodigal son. The narrative references pictures in the stationmaster's home that depict this biblical tale, giving the story a deeper, symbolic layer. Some scholars argue that Pushkin uses these references to question the absolute authority of biblical parables, while others see them as a way to enrich the story's emotional impact. Either way, the presence of these motifs invites us to read the story on multiple levels, blending the sacred with the everyday. Let's focus on a key episode, Minsky's stay at the station. The timeline of his visit mirrors the passion and resurrection of Christ. He arrives Thursday evening, feigns illness, and leaves on Sunday morning. Pushkin even emphasizes on the third morning, it was Sunday. This parallel is more than coincidence. Minsky's illness, care from Dunya, and eventual departure echo the biblical narrative of Christ's suffering, death, and resurrection. But here, the sacred is turned on its head. A hussar's romantic escapade is cast in the mold of a holy drama, creating a comic and thought-provoking effect. Pushkin doesn't stop at the timeline. He fills the episode with comic echoes of the Passion. Dunya wraps Minsky's head with a vinegar-soaked cloth, reminiscent of the crown of thorns. Minsky constantly asks for lemonade, paralleling Christ being offered vinegar. Even the Thursday dinner and Friday silence mimic the Last Supper and Christ's silence before Pilate. These allusions are not meant to mock Christianity, but to create a playful, layered narrative where the sacred and the mundane collide. It's a brilliant example of Pushkin's ability to blend humor with deep cultural references. So what's the point of making Minsky a travestied Christ? This parody serves to highlight the contrast between the sacred and the trivial. Minsky, a charming but morally ambiguous hussar, is cast in the role of a savior, not of souls, but of Dunya's social ambitions. The comic mismatch between his actions and the biblical model exposes the gap between appearance and reality. Pushkin uses this technique not to ridicule religion, but to enrich his characters and deepen the story's irony. It's a subtle, sophisticated way to comment on human nature and society. Interestingly, this parody also opens the door to Dunya's perspective. For her, Minsky is a liberator, offering escape from provincial life. The story's complex narrative structure, layered with different narrators, allows for multiple viewpoints, including Dunya. This adds to the richness of the tale, making it more than just a simple parody. Pushkin's playful use of biblical motifs becomes a tool for exploring character motivations and the ambiguities of storytelling itself. It's a testament to his narrative genius. In conclusion, Pushkin's use of gospel motifs in The Stationmaster is a masterclass in literary travesty. By casting Minsky as a comic Christ figure, he invites us to question appearances, challenge conventions, and appreciate the playful complexity of his art. Pushkin doesn't mock religion. He uses its stories as rich material for exploring human nature, irony, and the power of narrative. His work reminds us that the sacred and the everyday are never far apart, and that great literature thrives on this very tension. Thanks for joining us on this literary journey.